Hello everyone, Ember here, and welcome back to a new video. In this one, I'd like to take a look at a Flygon EX deck that I've been playing a lot with recently. So, Flygon EX is a 310 HP fighting type stage 2. It has two pretty interesting attacks. One is essentially a hit and run move in the form of Reversing Storm, which does 130 damage and allows it to switch itself into one of your bench Pokemon. You don't have to do this if you don't want to do it, it is an option, which is nice. But yeah, you typically want to switch out, whenever you use this attack. So yeah. Also got this attack, Sonic Peridot, I think it's called. I honestly just call it Sonic Dive for most times, but yeah. For a water fighting metal, says this attack does 100 damage to each of your opponent's Pokemon EX and Pokemon V, and it's not affected by weakness or resistance. Now, sadly, all the Tera Pokemon have this effect where they can't be damaged while on the bench. And it's the same kind of situation for Hydreigon EX, basically, where you have this great spread move, but it doesn't really do anything against a large chunk of the format. And sadly, with Flygon, it's even worse than Hydreigon, I would say, because Hydreigon can target non-EX, non-Vs. Flygon is stuck with targeting just EXs and Vs. And of course, come rotation, there won't be any Vs left in Standard. So yeah, the only thing you can really hit is stuff like Squawkabilly and Fezandipiti, which, to be fair, do see plenty of play. But for the most part, Sonic Peridot isn't going to be doing a lot in games. What the deck really wants to do is actually just focus on Reversing Storm, doing 130, and then switching into the likes of Mimikyu or Cornerstone Ogerpon. So Mimikyu is basically the backbone of this deck. It's like the single most important card aside from, Flygon. So it has the ability Safeguard, where it gets protected by Pokemon GX and Vs. Now, if your opponent, not GXs, EXs rather, so if your opponent has great answers all game to Mimikyu, and to that extent Ogerpon as well, then I think your deck is just going to fall apart very quickly. And I think that's kind of like the main reason why Flygon really just hasn't taken off in the TCG in a big way. You can still win games, and a lot of players online really don't want to play against Mimikyu for some reason, or Budew, they don't want to deal with that. But aside from that, if you don't get those players, then you will get players who know how to deal with these things. And of course, you can just boss around Mimikyu and attack into Flygon. And 310 HP is a decent amount, but there is a surprising amount of decks that will, be able to one-shot you. Even things like Saruluch towards the mid to late game. So yeah, Flygon EX. It's a fun deck, but, it's a bit harder to recommend this one just because it's not as consistent as a Hydreigon, really. Like, it's one less energy for your first attack, but the spread attack is just not as good, and I just don't think the typing is great right now. You can one-shot Terrapagos, though, and Fezandipiti, which is kind of cool, but yeah, aside from that, that's it for the Pokemon, really. Like, everything else is fairly self-explanatory. Like, post-rotation is going to look a bit different for this list, so we'll have to remove Rotom, amongst other things, as well as Lumineon. As for the trainers, nothing too crazy. I might cut League HQ, but it has come up sometimes where it's been quite nice, like against Ancient Box and stuff, so I like to leave it in the list. Other things that are a bit weird, 2 Rescue Board, just because you want to be able to pivot out of Mimikyu, like after you've switched into it, so that's nice. Also got 1 Colress Experiment. Now, because I am running Neo Upper Energy as my A-spec of choice, I could definitely see the argument for running like the other Colress, like the Colress's Tenacity, to allow you to search your deck for a Stadium and an Energy card, but I don't think the Stadium is super important in this list, so yeah, that's kind of like why I'm running the other Colress. But especially come rotation, you'll want to play the other Colress anyway, so that's that. And yeah, there's honestly nothing really much else to say about the list. 1 boss to Counter Catcher, just because I think you're naturally going to fall behind on prizes anyway, especially if you want to lead with Budew. And yeah, that's kind of about it. For the energy, got 6 Fighting Energy, 1 Neo Upper. I did feature this in a recent video actually with Vikavolt, but yeah, it's just a really good card with this. Just means that you can use Pidgeot for it, and then you can follow up with a Sonic Peridot if you really want to. But yeah, overall, this deck is kind of like a 4 out of 10 for me, maybe a 5 out of 10 at a push. It's fun, it can win games, but a lot of the times you're just hoping you're against a deck where you can like really exploit Mimikyu and Cornerstone Ogerpon, and also hope the opponent will, be silly and rage quit and stuff like that. But yeah, for the most part, it is fun. Flygon EX could honestly be way worse, and I was expecting this deck to be complete trash, which it's not. But, at the end of the day, there's definitely better decks, and yeah, between you and me, Hydreigon is a lot better than this, which is a bit of a shame, right? I feel sorry for Flygon fans, been waiting ages for another good Flygon card, but yeah, aside from that, this is going to be my honest thoughts on Flygon EX, I guess. But yeah, let me know what you think down below. Have you had any success with Flygon? If you have a good list that you've been having a lot of success with, feel free to drop it and I'll give it a go. But yeah, it's been Iono PAL. Let me know what you think down below. And yeah, thank you for watching. So unfortunately, we've gone up against Ceruledge in this match, which, yeah, it's pretty terrible just because they have Fan Rotom to deal with Mimikyu immediately, which is a bit of a shame. But hopefully once we've taken out Fan Rotom, it'll be a bit more annoying, I guess, for my opponent to deal with it. So, we can basically just try and swing into Fan Rotom in our next turn here. And then, switch back into a Mimikyu, hopefully. So that's what we're looking to do, pretty much. So we'll start with Rare Candy Pidgeot, and then kind of just go from there, I guess. We do also have, like, Rotom to work with. Okay, so that's Flygon. That's really good, actually. So we will Rare Candy the active Pigeon. And, yeah, has to be Pigeon. It's not misplay just yet. I will probably misplay this game, but, we'll try not to do it immediately, at the very least. But yeah, we'll Rare Candy up here. And then what we want here is another Pidgeot. And yeah, wait, what we want here is... Okay, I'm just going to quickly look through the deck. I want a Rare Candy for sure. So we can either get Night Stretcher or just Nest Ball for the other Mimikyu. I might just get Night Stretcher, actually. Yeah, I might just get Night Stretcher with Rotom. So I'll Rare Candy up the other one. I could actually... I mean, I could Iono, right? But I kind of just want to throw the Rescue Board down on it, so... This might be the incorrect use of this, but I'm going to use Star Alchemy. We'll get Night Stretcher, so at least we know that there's another Mimikyu in the deck. And yeah, we'll get this. This is also like a way to retrieve Mimikyus, so maybe it's, I guess, incorrect to use these just yet, but I think we'll be okay in this situation. So we get Mimikyu down. Place a Rescue Board on the Mimikyu. Then Earthen Vessel away an Iono, because we want to keep Counter Catcher around. And then we can go ahead and grab... yeah, I think we'll get 2 basic energy. Just going to quickly double check and make sure I didn't prize Neo Upper Energy. Okay, I did. Okay, that's a problem. I mean, we shouldn't need to use Sonic Period, whatever it's called, however you say it. I'm going to say Sonic Dive, because I think that's a bit of an easier way of saying it. But yeah, we don't necessarily need to do that. So, yeah, I mean, we can hit into, like, Squawkabilly, but I don't think that's going to help us at all, really, right now, so... Some point in a future turn, maybe, to just get 100 damage on there, and then we can finish them off, but... Yeah, so put that into active spot. And then we get a prize card, which is nice. And they kind of have to use Will-O-Wisp at this point. But we can also just take another prize card that way. So what we are essentially doing is forcing my opponent to KO Mimikyus, or effectively just kind of boss around them. Unfortunately, they've not discarded any boss just yet. And what is this? A Chatot. Search your deck for up to 3 base Pokemon, put them into bench. Okay, that's interesting. Never seen that before. So yeah, opponent nest balls away for some stuffs. Nest balls for nothing. Okay. So yeah, they need a boss, really, this turn. Although I don't think they're doing a lot of damage. 7 energy. Is this basic energy? I think it's basic energy. No, it's just each energy card, right. Okay. So they discard Briar. That's actually pretty good. Although they might be running Palpad. Fezandipiti, that's cool. Is Fezandipiti weak to fighting? It is. Okay. So that could be like an easy 2 prizes. Maybe. Yeah, that could be an easy 2 prizes, actually. Rigid Band, fair enough. Just don't know how much damage they're doing at this point. Let's try and do it out. It's 20 damage, so 20, 40, 50, 70, 100. Should be like 210-ish, roughly. I will leak HQ. I don't think we're going to go behind on prizes, so I could just Pidgeot boss KO Fezandipiti, but yeah, I mean, that's not a bad idea, I guess. I don't think we need to do it this turn. I think we just need to draw, just start doing some chip damage on this Saraluge, so I'll go find a Rare Candy. So we'll do this. So that gets evolved up there. And game is frozen. Opponent conceded. Alright, fair enough. Fair dues. Scratch that game then. This is game number 3, trying to record. This is getting really annoying.